Eskom says the parastatal is not broken and beyond repair. Tshediso Matona says it can be fixed, but consumers are asking when. After releasing Eskom's results today, Matona was bombarded with questions by journalists about load shedding, Eskom's financial status and performance bonuses for executives. Eskom reported a profit of more than 9 billion rand for the first half of its financial year. But these are expected to decline to almost zero for the full year. The parastatal says government funds have given it a breathing room, but the price that South Africans pay for power still has to move higher to reflect its costs. Well, South Africans have been hit by 3 rounds of load shedding this year, and Eskom is moving the burden of rationing to households to protect industry. I spoke to the CEO, Tshediso Matona, a short while ago. Firstly, there seems to have been a picture created here today where liabilities exceed your income at the moment. Cost overruns. At one stage, you seem to throw up your hands and say, we can't pay for diesel if we don't have the money. Are Eskom's finances completely out of control?
No, they're not out of control, but they are a matter of concern. If we didn't have the funding support package from the government, then I would be a lot more worried than I am. Clearly, that stabilizes us. It just gives us room to think more innovatively, to think more about the long term, to think beyond the next 2 years, to see what is going to happen, given the program, the capital expenditure program, and our operational expenditures that we incur in running this business. So they are in bad shape, but I don't think that there's total collapse. As a matter of fact, if you look at our audited results, the auditors have given us a going concern status, so we are still a going concern as a business.
Eskom's been in trouble for a while, but it used to feel like the communication was better. We've had 3 times load shedding this year. We're hearing from a lot of people that the load shedding schedules aren't right. The municipalities blame Eskom, Eskom blames the municipalities. It really seems like the communication is bad, and again, like Eskom has lost control.
I don't think so. I in fact think that our communication has improved quite remarkably. It's not perfect by any chance, but we communicate on a daily basis about the state of the system, and our website works pretty well. Yes, there might be 1 or 2 glitches, but overall we can always improve communication. We can't communicate enough about the situation. I think that South Africans have to wake up to the reality that we are in a different space. We have reached the limits of our ability to prevent the country getting into low shedding space. I think that's the reality we confront. As I said, we will do everything possible to prevent load shedding, but where we have to do that, we will try and communicate, and we ask of consumers to heed our advice, to heed our warnings, and to assist in using electricity sparingly. Every one of us, at this point in time, you can use less electricity than you do. And so it's going to be not only just an Eskom matter, it's going to be Eskom working with the public to help us overcome this hurdle whilst new capacity comes on stream, and whilst we fix our plant, because the point about this is that our plant is not working well because we didn't maintain it over a long period of time.
Mr. Matona, I understand what you're saying, but I think people are still feeling incredibly duped at the moment. If you look at social media, just the frustration every time there's load shedding and every time there's another excuse. So we've heard about the coal silo, running out of water, running out of diesel. Now we're hearing about unforeseen technical problems. There must be something that's within your control. If I control my car, say I've got to put petrol in. Is this not flagrant bad planning?
Well, as I said, talking about what you do when your car doesn't perform well, you take it for service. That's what we're doing. We're taking our cars for service, and when more of our plants are out on maintenance, that means we have less capacity. So there's a trade-off. Do we continue to run these plants because we don't want to load shed in a way that is going to ultimately compromise them and actually plunge us into total darkness through a total blackout? Or are we going to be prepared to take some pain? There has to be pain. We are in a situation where there are not going to be quick fixes and no miracles, as it were. All countries go through this. If you have not built capacity in time through planning, and you're right, we should have planned more capacity to anticipate increased demand that we're finding right now. We are in this situation because supply and demand are in mismatch, as it were. However, to get out of there is not going to be an overnight thing, and it's not a thing for Eskom alone, it's a national thing.
It's a national thing, but my question again is the diesel problems, the water running out, the coal that gets wet. Is this not something that Eskom at least could be on top of?
The problem is that when you become a lot more transparent, as we've chosen to be, we're telling people what are the reasons why we're doing these things. That does not mean that we're not in control. That does not mean that, for example, we are working to improve the logistics to get diesel. That does not mean that we're not working on the water. We're just being more transparent. And so I don't think that we have lost control of the situation. I think we're on top of the situation. We're just being more transparent and asking the public to work with us. There are many things that go into producing electricity. Logistics, coal, diesel, and so on and so forth. All of those things, complex operations, they entail complex operations. Eskom has capability to deal with those things, as it were. On an occasion, something goes wrong. We run out of diesel. We run out of water. These are normal occurrences. However, in a constrained environment, they do lead to the situation that we've seen, that where the lights go off.
Can you explain the change in thinking? Your predecessor was often saying that we will do anything we can to keep the lights on. You're saying something different. No, that we will load shed to ensure the stability of the system overall. Also, it's moved from the strain on industrial customers to households. So explain what the new normal is, what we can expect.
Our focus and our priority as a company is to supply electricity and therefore to keep the lights on. And we will do so to the extent that we have the means to do so. Where we run out of means, simply because our plant is not reliable, we have to do the maintenance and our finances are not in order. There you have it. You can't create miracles. And so we're not changing our commitment to continue to supply electricity, but we're saying to the extent that the means allow us to. Our financial situation has deteriorated. Our plant reliability and performance has also deteriorated. This is the situation now. My predecessor could say that at that time and manage it. And now we've, as I said, reached the limits of our ability to do these things without causing undue damage to the system as a whole.
Two more questions. You've talked about the funding you need from government. You've asked for increases from the regulator. And you talk about cost-reflective prices. If we actually move there, what can customers expect? What sort of increase will be cost-reflective?
I can't tell you what the extent of the increases that
a rough percentage
will require. Well, we're sitting now at 8%, and we know it's not enough. That's why we've had to go to the.
So we're close to 13% next year.
We're now talking 13%, but the point is this: that we require more revenue to pay for the capacity that we're bringing into the system, as it were. Nobody's going to pay for that than Eskom. And where does Eskom get the money from? It gets the money from the tariff. We have to build, we have to maintain, we require money. And that money, where do we get it from? We get it from the tariff. So, yes, we do not want to choke the economy through sharp increases. That's not the intention. But we're saying over time, in a smooth, manageable way, let us be able to recover our costs from the prices of electricity.
My final question for you. Salaries did come up today. According to a recent parliamentary question, your predecessor was the highest earning parastatal CEO. I think people out there just want to know that the man at the top of perhaps the most highly paid parastatal, you are in a very challenging job. But do you have that deep concern? Are you hands-on? Are you worried about the reports from overseas increasingly saying South Africa is struggling to keep the lights on, the implications for investment, for development, for our pride as South Africans in our country?
That concerns me a great deal, absolutely. I want to restore Eskom to a time when it was the pride of our nation, powering our economy. It's possible. Eskom is not irretrievably broken. Eskom can be fixed. It's a difficult job. It'll take a while, but I think it's doable.